guys, coming here. Welcome to Langrisser 3.0 news from the future. So yup, on this part of video, it's finally here. The upcoming two new characters, Gizarov the Transgender, or in my opinion, the Exceeder, and everyone's new wife we're gonna be. She's the cold-hearted Alpha. So yep, are you guys ready? And on this part of the video, we'll be going through on Gizarov the Transcendent, and then on part 2 of video, we'll be going through on Alpha. So here we go. So before we carry on, a very great thanks to information shared and provided by the Langrisser mobile app 梦幻模拟阵手游. So ta-da! So here's the cool looking new characters, but hopefully he's gonna be a very OP character. So yep, he's known as Gizarov the Transcendent, the one who managed to attain all sorts of OP power in the game. Well, yep. And I like his talent. It's short, sweet, and easy. So I'm gonna go with the name will be okay. And at the end of the video, I will share with the summarized version of the characters' talent, skills, faction, and 3C at rank 6. So alright. Talent. The Great Force of DC. Yep, I'm gonna go with that. It means Great Force of Destruction Creation. So number 1, upon using skills, increase intelligence, defense, and magic defense by 7%. Can be stacked to a maximum of 3 layers. Undispellable, so maximum stack to 21%, and that's a lot. That's almost a faction buff. Number 2, when entering battle or when they're entering combat, if Gizarov Transcendent HP is above 70%, he can normal attack twice on enemy. So yep. So gonna re-summarize again. So number 1, upon using skills, increase intelligence, defense, and magic defense by 7%, can be stacked up to 3 layers. Undispellable. And number 2, entering combat, if your HP limit is above or greater than 70%, Gizarov can attack twice. So he's more of an all-rounded Ladin, or he's a combination of Ladin and Ryo from the last collaboration of Ronin Warriors. So yep. So because as long as his HP is above 70%, when entering combat, he can attack twice on enemies. So imagine if your intelligence is 1000, so you're doing 2 times 1000 attack towards enemy, while enemy is only 1000 attack and he's only hitting you once. So I gotta say, overall you still get the upper hand on this. And for Ladin, he's only doing counter attack, but for Gizarov, the Transcendent's case, he's doing both normal attack and counter attack as long as HP is above 70%, and that's kind of cool. Alright, his faction, the Mythical Realm, Darkness, and Yellow's faction. And moving on to his path. Alright, his initial path is the Transcendent. So yep, 2 existing skills, so we're just gonna do a quick one. So Break Evil, so increase crit by 15%, attack multiple enemy, deal 0.35 times AoE damage, and dispel 1 buff, effective against demon units. Then next is a passive, Backwater. Okay, when units HP is below 50%, when entering combat, increase defense and magic defense by 10%. Not so useful, I'll say. Then alright, he only have 2 paths, left and right. So I'm gonna go with the name, the birth of all livings path. So yep, the second class will be the creator, yep. So yep, holy missile, attack all enemy on a single straight line, deal 0.33 times AoE damage, effective against demon, and dispel 1 buff. Then the third class, buff of all livings creation. So yep, 2 new skills. The first will be broken soul ruling. So attack all enemy in a single straight line. I'm gonna presume it's 1/5 to 1/6. Okay, deal 0.25 times AoE damage and cause shifting position effect. Pull all targets closer to Gizarov by 2 squares or tiles and reduce their movements by 2, and it lasts for a turn. So I'm gonna say it is not that effective. Oops, sorry. Okay, I gotta say it's not that effective if you are against enemy like Hilda, because due to her talent, your characters will not be able to cause them position shifting effects. So, and the damage is kind of low, 0.25 times. But other than that, if we do not have characters like Hilda, or when enemies are not close, or when their allies are not close to Hilda, things might be better. I mean, you get damage, you get position shifting, and you reduce their movement speed, so that's kind of great. Okay, the last skills for this holy path will be disintegrate. So deal 0.45 times damage 5 squares or tiles around Gizarov and cause all enemies attack intelligence to decrease by 25% and cause enemy defense and magic defense, whichever is higher, to be reduced by 25%. Lasts for 2 turns. So definitely gonna go with this skill. Disintegrate is too good to let go because it's 0.45 times. That's a lot. It's 0.01 times higher than earthquake. Then, well, we can attack anyone with it. You don't get like penalties against flyer units like earthquake does. And only that, you decrease enemies attack and intelligence by 25%. And then you get to reduce their defense or magic defense by 25%, whichever is higher. So the first thing I can think of is this skill is effective against enemies Bozo. So Bozo will rely on a high magic defense, which is in turn becoming his intelligence and damage. So if you're gonna reduce 25%, that is gonna greatly reduce his capabilities. So I gotta say it's very effective and it lasts for 2 turns. Okay, his right path, all world destruction path. So yep. So number 2 will be, I'm gonna call it the second class is gonna go with the destroyer path. So only have strengthened skills. Support is a support active, so cast the skill, increase the units attack intelligence by 20%, immune to attack intelligence reduction, unable to use active skills, lasts for 2 turns. Alright, third class, we have 1 new skills and 1 old skills. Okay, the all will destroy a path or destruction path. So yep, number 1 is a new skills. I'm gonna go with coherent demonic light. So it's like a magic missile. So I'm gonna presume it's a 1 times 5 to 6. Attack all enemy in a single straight line, deal 0.35 times AoE damage, and cause damage from enemies to be reduced by 10% and lasts for 2 turns. So we're going to re-summarize again. Number 1, attacks multiple enemy in a straight line, deal 0.35 times AoE damage. And number 2, it will cause enemies damage against you to be reduced by 10%, lasts for 2 turns. I gotta say it's kind of effective, increase all your team members' survivabilities, and that's not bad and not too shabby for the damage. It's 0.35 times, kind of good. And okay, next we have Dark Dragon Breath. So it's an old skills, attack multiple enemy in a 3x6 path, deal 0.36 times AoE damage, effective against priests, and give enemy a random debuff. So okay, nothing special. And next we're finally going to his 3C skills. Finally a character with very unique skills and 3C. I'm definitely gonna call him a OP character, and or maybe a situation OP character. So alright, his skills, or the name of his 3C, Twist of Fate. It's both passive and active, so it's definitely very good. Okay, let's start off with his passive. Number 1, units will not take close combat penalty. And number 2, after taking damage, and the first time after taking damage and your unit's HP falls below 50%, you will automatically gain a shield or protection shield with the following effect. This shield can block damage up to 50% of the caster's original HP, undispellable. And the protection shield effect can only exist one at all times. So alright, we're gonna go again. Number 1, unit will not receive close combat battle penalty. Number 2, the first time after you take a damage that causes your units to fall below 50%, you will gain a protection shield. So the protection shield effect will be, the shield will be able to protect or guard up to damage that is no more than 50% of Gizarov originals originals HP. Number 3, undispellable, and shield's effect can only one shield protection shield effect can be present at a time. So yep, you can't abuse. So if there is a way for you to do multiple casting, you can only do it once. Well, for some reason I'm gonna feel like coming soon there might be a character that can like reset passive effect, huh? And alright, moving on to active skills. Number 1, choose an enemy unit and cause Gizarov to exchange his units with enemy's unit HP percentage. After using these skills, you can act again. When using these skills, the buff that you bring along with yourself will not be reduced. So it's kind of cool. So gonna go, okay, let's do it again. Number 1, choose an enemy unit and swap HP percentage with the enemy. Number 2, after using this skill, you can act again. Number 3, the buff that you have brought along will not decrease when you act again. So I can say it's very cool. So if let's say Gizarov has only 30%, the units only have 30% of HP left, and enemy has 100%. So Gizarovs can move along to the enemy and do a HP swap, and enemy HP will from 100% will become 30%, and Gizarov will recover back to 100%. So this thing is kind of like getting much to Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a card from suddenly I can't remember the name yet, but that's she's Merrick's sister, and she has a trap card that do some sort of swapping, and they have, so definitely giving a Yu-Gi-Oh! Vibe over here. So alright, and that's it. We have come to the end for Gizarov, and at the end of the video I'll show you guys a more proper summarized writing of what I've done for Gizarov itself. So stay tuned to the end. We'll see you guys on part 2 of the video featuring ta-da! Alpha. So this is Kami. Remember to like and subscribe my video. We'll see you guys. Goodbye.